Amazing revelation, little twin girls expose their dying mama's hidden truth, transforming their. Lucy and Lily were inseparable, two beams of light dancing around their small Midwestern living room. Laughter echoed, filled with the warmth of childish giggles, but today an unspoken worry clung to the air. Their mother, Mia, had grown quieter, often leaning against the kitchen counter, waiting for words that wouldn't come. The twins had learned to juggle their playtime with moments of hushed concern, peeking at Mia's waning smile, her pale face overshadowed by something they couldn't quite put into words. At the depths of their innocent hearts, they cherished illusions, but they knew, the world around them was cracking. As droplets pattered against the window, the girls played hide-and-seek, racing around their cramped home. When Lily giggled and stumbled, her foot finding a loose floorboard, it creaked under her weight. Curiosity danced in their eyes, and without a second thought, they pried it open, their small fingers sifting through dust. The surprise discovery of a leather-bound journal sent their hearts racing. What was their mother hiding? Uneasiness filled them, 1,000 unanswered questions swirling like a storm. Their fingers trembled as they flipped through the journal's brittle pages. With every word, Mia's past peeled away like layers of paper. Images of resilience and hardship sketched their mother as a woman forged in fire, one who had left behind an abandoned family business and an uncertain future. This wasn't just a story, this was their mother's life, her struggles, sacrifices, the shackles she'd worn silently. Each revelation cut deep. How could the heroic figure they adored harbor such shadows? Their minds grappled with the weight of guilt and obligation, feelings of needing to shield Mia, yet yearning to understand the truth. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the days turned to fleeting moments, Lucy and Lily's instincts grew sharper, their mother's fragile health etched concern into their hearts. How could they help her? What would it mean to confront her secrets? They unfolded the journal, one keepsake at a time, igniting a path toward understanding. Informed by curiosity, they found themselves standing before Mr. Thompson, the local attorney. Rather than dismissing their questions, he acknowledged their potential, a glimmer of possibility sparking in his eyes. The twins' determination grew, entwining their innocent hearts with a greater truth. Could they honor Mia's legacy by shedding light on her past? The complexities filled them with urgency. Then came the town hall meeting, a place where all the neighbors would gather. Lucy and Lily felt terror and yearning war within them. They could no longer remain silent. They needed to share what they had unearthed, but would their community receive it well? Their hearts raced, juxtaposed by the weight of their finding. Would they break the hearts they loved or inspire change? The sisters, shoulders brushing, stood under the flickering lights, voices trembling yet persistent. They knew deep down this was their moment, one that hung in the balance. Would they lift their mother's story from the shadows, or be swallowed by the darkness of their fears? The room fell silent, the air thick, as Mia watched from the back, her heart pounding with pride intertwined with pain. The twins had thrown down a gauntlet. What lay ahead was uncertain, poised to transform everything they knew. As the echoes of silence lingered in the room, Lucy squeezed Lily's hand, a surge of courage igniting between them. The twins stood shoulder to shoulder, their hearts pounding synchronously. In those flickering shadows, the weight of their mother's past pressed on them like a mantle of responsibility. Mia's gaze was steady, a mix of trepidation and hope. It was a battle she had fought silently, wrestling with her demons while simultaneously sheltering her daughters from the brunt of her struggles. But today would be different. Today, she would allow them to shoulder that burden, believing in their strength to carry it forward. Lucy took a deep breath, her voice trembling at first, but it grew, fueled by a newfound determination. "We found something." Her words hung in the air, each syllable trembling with the gravity of the moment. "A journal. Mom's journal. Murmurs fluttered among the audience, eyes widening, curiosity piqued. Lily took a step forward, feeling the energy shift around them. It's filled with her stories. The things she never told us, or anyone. The twins exchanged a glance. They were stepping into uncharted territory, and despite their youth, they bore insights that belied their years. In that instant, they understood a truth greater than the tales of their mother. It was about resilience, change, and the courage to confront life's harsh realities. With every word they spoke, Mia felt herself shrinking back, her heart resting with conflict. Could she let them delve into the raw edges of her life? Yet, the pride in their voices, the way they championed her struggles transformed that dread into something more hopeful. She realized this was not just about revealing her past but allowing them the chance to learn and grow from their family's legacy. I hid these things, thinking I was protecting you. Mia's voice was soft, yet firm as she stepped forward. But protecting you shouldn't mean keeping you in the dark. The twins exchanged glances, hearts racing, knowing they had cracked open a conversation that was both terrifying and liberating. It was a fracture in the silence that had cloaked their home for too long. Mr. Thompson interjected, bringing the meeting back into focus. These revelations have the power to not only propagate healing within your family but could inspire change beyond. His words hung between them like a lifeline. Lucy felt the tremors of excitement ripple through her. If they could ignite change, perhaps they could transform the town's perception of their mother, unveiling the woman behind the faded laughter. It was a shared mission, a union between daughters and mother against the shadows of their past. As the meeting unfolded, the twins spoke with a clarity that startled even them. They crafted a narrative of hope, resilience, and redemption with every phrase that danced from their lips. The community that had once stood oblivious to their plight began to stir, engaging, questioning, cheering them. Yet, within Lucy and Lily, doubts flickered like candle flames. What if the reception turned sour? What if their mother's pain fell on deaf ears? The next hour felt endless, the weight of their family's name hanging like a specter over the room. As the meeting concluded, applause erupted, but with it came a sense of unease. They had stirred the pot, yet they knew the real work had only begun. Together, they would have to confront everyone's reactions, reconcile their past, and shield Mia from the backlash they feared might follow. In the shadows behind them, Mia watched her daughters transform before her eyes, a wave of pride swelling in her heart. But as the applause faded, she considered the emerging truths that still lay buried beneath the surface. How far could they push this newfound understanding? The moment of truth was approaching. A new chapter awaited them, fraught with challenges yet ripe with possibilities. Would they be able to navigate their journey ahead and truly honor their family's legacy? As they stepped down from the podium, tremors of uncertainty coursed through Lucy and Lily, foreshadowing the unraveling of deeper secrets yet to come. The remnants of applause echoed in Lucy's ears, but beneath the fleeting exhilaration lay a tumult of emotions. Anxiety gnawed at her, dark and primal. The weight of their mother's past and their own newfound purpose felt both exhilarating and suffocating. As the crowd dispersed, the warmth of connection that had sparked during their speech began to chill, replaced by the cool touch of reality. Lily, sensing her sister's turmoil, leaned in, her voice low. What now? We can't just walk away like this. The urgency in her tone made Lucy's heart quicken. The path stretched before them, winding into uncertain territories. Lucy attempted to process the range of reactions from the audience, some captivated, some skeptical. Would they truly understand? She turned to look at Mia, who had sunk into a silence that spoke volumes. Her mother's turmoil mirrored Lucy's own, and it flickered like a candle flame, fragile, yet potent. It's not just about sharing her story, is it? Lucy murmured, feeling the gravity of her words. It's about facing what comes next. The thrill of revelation was quickly overshadowed by the fear of backlash. The raw emotions of the meeting had opened floodgates, but now, gnawing doubts threatened to pull them back under. Mia's expression wavered, haunted yet hopeful. This was a first step, but there's more to uncover. My past isn't just mine. It belongs to you now too. She glanced anxiously at her daughters, who stood rooted in place, a palpable tension rising between them. The struggle with her secrets would now become their struggle. Taking a deep breath, Lucy began to formulate a plan, her mind racing. We need to read the journal together. Let us document everything, the good, the bad, all of it. We make it our mission to truly know her. Lily nodded firmly, her eyes brightening with resolve. We can start unraveling the truth and then decide how to share it. We owe it to her and to ourselves. As they gathered around their mother, the room's once confining walls felt like they were expanding, possibility surged anew. They had a way forward, a way to reclaim ownership over their family's narrative. Here was a chance not just to understand Mia but to foster their own identities as individuals shaped by her experiences. The decision felt monumental, heavy with significance. Moments ticked by, each one laden with the potential of revelation. When Mia finally spoke, her voice trembled. Are you sure you're ready for the things that may come to light? This journey isn't without its challenges. Lucy's heart raced as she addressed her mother, grasping for the conviction she knew awaited her. We may not be able to predict everything, but we have to confront it all. It's the only way we're going to break the silence. You taught us that, didn't you? Their mother's brow furrowed, her gaze softening with something like pride and fear intermingled. She must have understood that they were no longer the innocent children she thought she was protecting. They were young women poised to navigate the turbulent waters of truth, capable of embracing adversity and emerging stronger. The journal would be their guide, a testament of trials and triumphs. Each transcription would inch them closer to understanding, but more importantly, it would be a lifeline as they faced potential fallout questions from those who wanted simple answers to complex lives, judgments rooted in ignorance, potentially painful confrontations from people who could only see the fragments of their family's history. That late afternoon heat mixed with the promise of storms. Shadows loomed just beyond their small sanctuary. How would they manage the world's response as it collided with their intimate discoveries? As they began to turn the pages together, the crackling electricity of uncertainty defined them more than the pages they held. With each passage read aloud, they sank deeper into the past, poised on the precipice of revelations that could spiral dangerously out of control. And as the first words from the journal emerged, echoing of dreams unfulfilled and the heartbreak of love lost, an unexpected door creaked open. What if some truths were meant to stay hidden? The weight of that thought pressed heavily on Lucy, harnessing both dread and courage. The next revelation lay out of reach, lingering just beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to strike. Would they possess the strength to confront what lay ahead? The room darkened around them, a foreboding prelude as the first extract from the journal touched the air. Lucy's mind raced as the words spilled from the yellowed pages, each fragment revealing a piece of their mother's hidden past. The ink seemed alive, almost pulsating with emotional weight, an echo of the woman they thought they knew. As she read aloud, her voice trembled, cracking under the strain of the secrets unfurling before them. Mia's breath caught in her throat as they unearthed the first signs of turmoil, heartbreaks that had left their marks on the family tree, twisted roots of betrayal and loss. With every word, Lucy felt a knot in her gut tighten. The worry of how deeply these revelations would cut, not just into their own hearts but into their mother's as well, loomed heavily in the room. Do you see? Mia's voice broke the silence. It was a low, pleading echo. I never wanted this for you. I wanted to shield you. Lily's eyes flicked between Lucy and Mia, a reflective illumination of concern on her face. But by hiding it, you let it fester. We need to know all of it, Mom. It's the only way forward, right? The determination in her words was palpable, thickening the air like a storm cloud. Lucy felt the power of that determination pooling within her, but it was met with an equal measure of trepidation. We have to be ready for what this means. For us, for you. Her voice wavered as she turned a page, her finger hovering over a line that spoke of a forgotten love lost to the ages. This isn't just information, it's our legacy. She made eye contact with Mia, searching for clarity in the depths of her mother's gaze. Would they be able to bear the weight of those legacies, or would they shatter under the strain? There was no telling how deep their mother's choices had impacted the lives beyond their own little trio. As they delved deeper, Lucy recognized her own fears crystallizing into shapes she could confront. What if the truth divided them? What if overcoming the past wasn't a catharsis but a chasm? She felt an inner turbulence and awareness of her growing strength woven with a sense of vulnerability. She was no longer the naive child, comforted by the shadows cast by her mother's decisions. She was an adult ready to confront the darkness of those shadows. Everything we discover can be a stepping stone or a stumbling block, Lucy suggested, her tone firm as she leaned forward, ready to take an active role in the journey. It's how we tell our story that will define our future. We can give voice to these memories. A flicker of hope ignited in Mia's expression as she absorbed Lucy's words, recognizing, perhaps, that her daughters were poised to navigate this transition with strength. They weren't merely uncovering the skeletons in the family closet, they were wielding them as tools for growth, transforming pain into purpose. The journal flipped to another page, revealing passages that spoke of resilience and regeneration. Lucy noted her own reactions, building a mental spectrum of emotions that stretched across relief, anger, and everything in between. She was starting to discover a reservoir of courage inside herself, a resilience built from both their mother's trials and her own awakening. Resilient. That was the word dancing temptingly in Lucy's mind. It felt empowering. Maybe, just maybe, they were flexible enough to adapt and grow around these truths. The prospect thrilled and terrified her all at once. But even as the journal offered glimmers of hope, an unsettling thought crept back. And what if their exploration led to a truth more painful than they could handle? What if delving into their mother's past could dredge up resentments and wounds that had begun to heal? The air felt heavier, the atmosphere charged with the looming weight of unsettling truths yet to be uncovered. Lucy sensed a shift, the narrative changing before her eyes. The next page promised another unveiling, but there was a harrowing urgency mingling with anticipation. These stories of reconciliation came with an inherent risk. She reached hesitantly for the journal, fingers brushing over a seam where those most painful memories lay hidden, unsure if it was courage or foolishness driving her, and in that moment, she realized, some truths, no matter how liberating, could burn. Yet the prospect of empowerment called out to her, daring her to embrace the unknown. What if? Lucy breathed heavily, her voice lower than it had been. What if some truths do more harm than good, and we can't unlearn them? The question hung in the air, a pulsating reminder that they stood on the cusp of not just an exploration, but a confrontation, one alive with potential yet fraught with danger. It was a moment of reckoning, a whisper of the chasm that lay between fear and empowerment. How far would they venture into these depths, and what unforeseen consequences awaited? Lucy felt her heartbeat quicken as she contemplated the question lingering in the air. It sent shivers down her spine, a warning echoing in her mind. The journal lay open before her like Pandora's box, filled not with hope but with the kind of truths that could unravel them completely. She glanced at Mia and Lily, their expressions a tapestry of fear and determination. What if we find something we can't accept? Mia's voice trembled, breaking the silence that followed Lucy's question, anxiety threading the air. What if the truth changes everything? Lucy's thoughts raced. There was an unspoken understanding that the past could be a double-edged sword. The revelations might breathe new life into their understanding of their mother, or they might slice through the delicate fabric of their family's bond. She felt a steady current of urgency pulling her deeper into the mystery. This was their chance to reclaim their narrative and reshape it. We have to confront this, she declared, her passion rising like a tide. If we don't, it will haunt us. Ignoring it won't make it go away. Mia looked uncertain, her gaze falling to the floor. Yet Lucy saw a spark of acknowledgement in her eyes, a flicker of recognition that they were capable of confronting their inheritance. Turning to Lily, who had taken a step closer, she continued, we can empower ourselves with these truths. Our mother's past isn't just her burden, it's ours too. Lily's brow furrowed as she pondered her sister's words. But what if it breaks us? What if we learn that everything we thought we knew was a lie? The weight of those possibilities loomed large. Lucy drew a deep breath, considering the implications. Maybe weaving through their mother's turmoil was the key to unlocking their own fears. Perhaps this was a matter of becoming warriors of their own narrative, refusing to be mere victims of their legacy. Every family has secrets, Lucy said, her voice steadying. It's how we respond to them that defines us. We can either let them control us or be the ones who decide how to wield the truth. Mia's expression shifted, her resolve crystallizing. I want to understand her. I need to know what made her who she is. As they pushed deeper into the pages, Lucy found herself yearning for understanding, not just of their mother but of herself. The themes in the journal resonated within her like echoes of her own misunderstandings and fears. The inked words described choices made by a woman desperate for love, acceptance, and belonging, emotions Lucy understood all too well. With every new revelation, Lucy felt her own underpinnings shift. She began to question her previous hesitations. Was it truly fear of the past she faced, or was it the realization that their journey had the potential to redefine who they were? With every word they read, she could see the pieces of their identity unfurling. Her fingers moved instinctively over to a blank page, and she realized she possessed an art that could transcend the shadows. She could write their narrative anew. The thought invigorated her. She had the power to share their story with others and paint over the pain with layers of resilience. What if, she began again, her heart racing, we documented our journey through this? If it gets hard, we'll have a way to process it together. We can heal through writing. Mia turned towards her, interest piqued. You want to journal our discoveries as we go? Exactly, Lucy nodded. It will be a way to capture our truths, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It will help us remember where we've been. Mia's eyes shone with a mix of enthusiasm and relief. Then we won't be alone. It'll be our collective experience. Lily's uncertainty began to dissipate, replaced by the sparkling intrigue of a shared mission. It was a pact in the making. Each of them would contribute to the story that was evolving. But those glimmers of hope and determination tangled with the awareness of the dangers still lurking in the shadows. As they continued reading, Lucy caught sight of a passage that unnerved her, a painful memory of betrayal. The weight settled heavily in the room, daunting yet validating. Together, they had the power to hold both the light and the darkness. With a heart racing and a mind ablaze with possibilities, Lucy dared to turn the page, aware that every discovery could lead them closer to healing or drag them back into despair. Whatever we find, we face it together, she affirmed, feeling the fire within her grow stronger. But even those words hung heavy with tension, a reminder that while they might be united in their journey, each of them would have to confront their own truths, some cloaked in shadow and others yearning for light. As they flipped through the pages, Lucy sensed that the truths awaiting them would test not only their family's strength but also the very essence of who they had come to be. What if, she thought, her heart thundering, we discover something that forces us to confront the very essence of our identity, the choices our mother made or didn't make? What if we unearth repercussions that will change not just our understanding of her but us, too? The realization was unsettling, a call to arms that promised as much self-discovery as it did potential heartbreak. They were now standing at the precipice of the unknown, ready to confront whatever the past or the truth would reveal. As Lucy turned the page, the air thickened with anticipation. Each word she read became a heartbeat, a reminder of the intimate dance between fear and revelation. The ink seemed to shimmer in the dim light, her eyes scanning a description of their mother's youth, a series of choices that spoke of both rebellion and vulnerability. This was not just her mother's story, it intertwined with the threads of Lucy's own life, revealing reflections she'd long avoided. Look at this, she murmured, trying to suppress the tremor in her voice as she pointed to a passage describing a clandestine affair. This is why she left home, and maybe why she found herself so lost. Mia leaned closer, her expression drawn tight. What if she made those choices because of us? Maybe we were the reason she felt trapped. Lucy wrestled with that realization, battling an impulse to protect their mother's legacy. Or perhaps those choices were about her need for freedom, including the freedom to make mistakes, she suggested, aiming to shift perspective. We need to uncover the context, understand her motives, not condemn them. With the collective support of her sisters, Lucy felt an unwavering purpose rise within her. This was no longer solely about their mother's past, it was an exploration of their own identities. They had spent so many years defining themselves by her absence, now was the time to redefine themselves in the light of her choices. As they continued, another entry made Lucy's stomach churn. It was a raw confession about a significant betrayal, one that had shattered their mother's trust and left scars invisible to the eye. The words dripped with regret, unmistakably punctuated by a desire for forgiveness that echoed through time. Suddenly, the lives before them transformed, peeling back layers of vulnerability that had long been hidden beneath a facade. What if this is our chance? Lucy's voice wavered with exhilaration and uncertainty. What if we can transform our pain into understanding? Instead of mourning what we lost, we can rewrite our story, use these experiences to grow. Lily surfaced from her reflective pause, a hint of defiance in her gaze. But how do we avoid repeating those mistakes? If we uncover family patterns that led to that betrayal, how can we ensure it won't haunt us? Awareness, Lucy replied, her voice firm. We observe, we reflect, and we learn. If we share the truths of our mother's mistakes, we can consciously choose a different path. We won't be victims, we'll be aware creators of our own narratives. Seeing her sister's furrowed brows, Lucy understood they were at a threshold, the moment between ignorance and knowledge that demanded courage. They sat encircled by revelations that were about to shift their foundations, but instead of fear, she felt excitement bloom. As the three of them delved deeper into their mother's past, they also began to examine their own moments of indecision. What choices had they made that mirrored their mother's? The thrill of discovery intertwined with the dread of reflection. Each entry from the journal brought them closer to moments in their lives where they, too, had felt trapped or betrayed. Maybe this process is about more than healing, Lucy mused aloud, the resonance of her voice anchoring the moment. I think it's about elevating ourselves, stepping into our power and planning how we will move forward. We can harness these stories, use them as weapons to combat regret. A heaviness lingered in the room as silence blanketed them. The weight of understanding pressed down on Lucy's shoulders, but within the burden lay the seeds of transformation. The intensity grew palpable as the pages turned. They began to uncover old wounds, bringing cringes of recognition. A series of choices echoed the turbulence in her life, each linked together like an intricate web they had unwittingly woven. Lucy paused, absorbing the feelings swirling inside her. What could this newfound power mean for her future? Could she redefine what it meant to be part of this family legacy, to write boldly and without the shadows of the past creeping in? Would the discovery of these familial truths grant her the fortitude to carve out a different existence? Lucy felt a thrilling anxiety wash over her as they reached a particularly harrowing passage, the one revealing a life-altering decision made by their mother that indicated a fracture they had never perceived. Here's the thing, Lucy whispered, steadying herself, this could change everything we thought we knew about her, about ourselves. Are you both ready to confront it? The air buzzed with the weight of anticipation, a tightness coiling in their chests. The fractures in their understanding of their mother felt closer than ever, likely leading them toward uncharted territories in the context of family and identity. As they prepared to read on, Lucy caught the reflection of her sister's anxious determination in their eyes, each of them aware that the next few moments could irrevocably alter their perceptions. This was no longer just about their mother, it was about unearthing who they truly were destined to become, and how that intertwined with the choices of the past. What waits on the horizon? Lucy wondered, flipping the page as a shiver of trepidation and anticipation coursed through her. The moment of revelation was drawing near. Lucy steadied herself, her fingers brushing delicately against the page's edge as if the texture of the paper could offer solace. The crowded thoughts in her mind swirled together, each one a reflection of her own insecurities and fears. They were so close to delving deeper, to taking a leap into the unresolved shadows that had haunted their family for decades. Her heart thudded in sync with each breath they took. Drawing in a deep breath, she finally turned the page, revealing a passage that felt like a stark mirror held to her own life. The words spoke not just of her mother's life-altering decision but encapsulated the essence of Lucy's relationship with fear of inadequacy, fear of repetition, and fear of failure. There it was, a written history that reveled in imperfection, unveiling not a life lived without regrets, but one punctuated by moments of courage amidst chaos. As she read aloud, each syllable reverberated in her chest. The chaos was familiar. It echoed the turmoil she faced in her decisions, the risky job changes, the emotional withdrawal from friends, and the nagging pull to avoid genuine intimacy. She faltered, Lucy said, looking at her sisters who hung on her words, and yet she chose to push forward. She took risks, not just because she had to, but because she wanted to live. Mia's brow furrowed, and her voice trembled slightly as she replied, "Is it possible that by learning from her, we can avoid making the same mistakes, yet still embrace taking risks? It feels like a delicate balance." "You've hit it right there," Lucy responded, realizing that the weight of their mother's choices was not merely a burden but a lesson. It is about understanding our vulnerabilities and recognizing that mistakes don't have to dictate our future. The passage illuminated their mother's choice, leaving the family, trying to rediscover herself in the midst of chaos, and it ignited a shifting realization within Lucy. Instead of wrapping ourselves in fear, what if we could let our mother's mistakes embolden us? To treat our lives as a canvas, not a cage. Mia exhaled, almost sounding relieved. So, instead of being trapped by her choices, we learn how to maneuver around them? Exactly. Lucy felt herself ignite with fervor. Every choice we make is an opportunity to create our own tale, a tale that acknowledges history but doesn't allow it to dictate the future. As they continued through the heart-wrenching account, Lucy found herself unraveling a new layer of resolve within her. The tension that had lived in her for years began transforming into clarity. She wasn't just reading her mother's story, she was rewriting her own. Suddenly, her eyes caught the faint image of a family photograph tucked into the journal. It showed a younger version of their mother, bright-eyed and carefree, a portrait of hope in a sea of uncertainty. Picking up the photograph, warmth surged through Lucy as she realized this wasn't just about uncovering painful truths. It was a call to harness their potential for courage, to embrace their right to redefine family narratives. "What do we do with this?" Lily asked, her voice low. "How can we integrate this wisdom into who we want to become?" Lucy's heart raced at the gravity of her sister's anticipation. It was a question not easily answered, yet the possibilities illuminated her mind like a dawn breaking through the night. "We create," she said, her voice strong. "We take these stories, these revelations, and translate them into action. We build our legacy, one that accepts imperfections, chooses growth, and embraces new paths." The room crackled with renewed energy. Fear had not left them, but it had transformed into something powerful. Together, they could face the specter of their past and mold it into a future of their own design. As they delved deeper into their mother's choices, reality collided with ambition. Could they emerge from this with clarity and courage, ready to break generational chains? But before Lucy could wrap her mind around her shifting perspective, she discovered another entry, one that hinted at buried secrets even darker than betrayal. "Lucy," Mia whispered, her voice entangled in a thread of apprehension, "are you ready for this?" The air thickened once again, a palpable tension replacing their momentary resolve. Lucy swallowed, her stomach twisting with an unsettling mixture of dread and exhilaration. "I don't know what lies ahead," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper, "but perhaps this could be the moment that reveals everything we've always needed to confront." The weight of knowing, of discovery, pressed down on them as the horizon of truth loomed ahead. Lucy's fingers trembled as she carefully unfolded the worn paper, revealing the elaborate script that told a story she had not anticipated. The inked words seemed to pulse with energy, demanding attention. As she began to read, her heart raced, the air was heavy with the tension of discovery. The entry detailed an incident from their mother's past, one that hinted at outrageous decisions made in the pursuit of freedom, a series of choices interwoven with love, remorse, and reckless abandon. It was about a young woman in the wrong relationships, straying further from her family with each reckless choice. Lucy felt a twist in her gut as she processed the implications. It was more complex than we imagined, she murmured, her breath catching on the realization that the idealized version of their mother had been crafted from layers of experiences never shared with them. More than just abandoning us, Mia interjected, her voice almost a whisper. It sounds like she was abandoning herself, lost in a web of her own making. Yes, Lucy responded, her mind racing. She sought something and lost herself in the pursuit. How do we learn from this? The question hung in the air, echoing the depth of their search for identity, their own quest for validation amid unanswered questions. For decades, they had been haunted by their mother's absence, but now Lucy felt a shift occurring within herself. No longer just the confused daughter lost in a spiral of familial legacies, she was beginning to see herself as an architect of her own story. Each revelation feels like a weight lifted yet added at once, Lucy said, pensive. We're peeling back layers that could either free us or further ensnare us. Lily spoke up, her voice steady yet tinged with trepidation. So, what do we do now that we know this? Do we confront it, or do we simply carry it? Confront it, Lucy replied with sudden resolve. We can no longer be passive observers in our mother's narrative. It's time we actively change our fate by rewriting our scripts. As she spoke, Lucy felt a surge of determination. This moment was pivotal. It wasn't merely a confrontation with their mother's past but with their own fears. Could they indeed reshape their stories and carve pathways that honored not just the trauma but also the lessons of resilience? The weight of the journal pressed down in her hands. Every word, every revelation felt like a new chapter unfolding. She could feel the escalating pulse of personal growth. This was about understanding, not only of their mother but of themselves. But alongside this empowerment came uncertainty. What if we discover things we can't handle? Mia's voice quavered, drawing a mixture of fear and courage from the depths of their shared past. With deep contemplation, Lucy acknowledged the flickers of unease. We prepare ourselves. We create a plan, what we want to learn, how we want to grow from this. Her sisters nodded, a sense of unity forming. Lucy's mind was racing with ideas. We can hold each other accountable. Let us form a pact, one that pushes us to confront our fears. We'll face whatever truths lie ahead together. The atmosphere charged with unspoken vows. This was their point of no return. As they diverted toward this myriad of uncertainties, new motivations emerged, compelling them toward a future guided by understanding over fear. Just as hope sparked within them, Lucy caught sight of another passage, a secret buried beneath the surface that suggested an impending confrontation with a figure from their mother's past, a man whose influence may still loom like a specter. Lucy, Lily breathed, her eyes wide. Do you think we should dig deeper? Lucy's heart sank momentarily into a whirlpool of dread and curiosity. The call of discovery danced tantalizingly within reach, yet it came with the weight of unknown consequences. I believe we must, she declared, an adrenaline-fueled resolve igniting the fire within her. With determination growing, she knew one thing for certain: confronting this unknown could very well lead them to the truth that had eluded their family for generations. As she braced herself for the journey ahead, she realized that true transformation awaited, a journey poised delicately between the security of the known and the thrill of uncovering long-buried truths. And with that, Lucy's heart raced into the abyss of uncertainty, eager to discover what awaited just beyond the page. Lucy sat in the dim light of the room, the journal open before her like a treasure chest waiting to be unraveled. The unsettling history she had just glimpsed felt like a heavy fog swirling around her mind. Each word she processed dug deeper into her awareness. This wasn't merely about understanding their mother, it was about unlocking fragments of her own life that she had yet to explore. What exactly do we want to find? Mia's hesitant question shattered the heavy silence, compelling Lucy to examine her own motivations. For years, she had lived under the shadow of her mother's choice to disappear. Was she simply after the truth for closure, or was there something deeper at play, an unquenchable desire to understand her own identity through the lens of her mother's actions? We need to discover our own voices, Lucy replied, feeling her words ignite the air between them. It means confronting the pains and the mistakes, not just of Mom, but within ourselves. We owe it to each other. Mia's brow furrowed further. What if we find ourselves lost in her choices instead? What if this journey isolates us even more? The thought struck Lucy hard, a reminder of her own past fears. She could feel the gnawing uncertainties within, shadows of the girl she once was hesitant, fearful, and lost. But the more she reflected, the more she realized it wasn't solely their mother's wounds they were addressing, but their own. They had spent years burying the complexities of their upbringing, and now they stood at a precipice, poised to dive into the turbulent waters of emotional truth. We need to build our own narratives, Lucy emphasized, her voice steady but urgent. We must learn how to navigate the space between their choices and our future. The girls spent the next few hours discussing what they feared and what they longed for. They mapped out layers of trauma they could confront, trusting their pact to guide them. As they planned, Lucy's excitement grew. She felt the weight of expectation shift. This wasn't about resurrecting their mother's past, it was about discovering their potential. The sun began to set outside, painting the room in warm hues, a stark contrast to the heaviness in their hearts. Within moments, however, she turned her attention back to the passages in the journal, the secrets woven throughout the entries. They had something powerful at their fingertips that could dismantle not just the illusions surrounding their mother but could also redefine how they understood themselves. What if we find that she had strengths we never recognized? What if she was trying to protect us from her demons? Mia interjected, and as she spoke, Lucy marveled at the resilience her sister displayed. This was no longer an act of searching, but of taking back the control they once felt stripped away. This is about us now, Lucy said, her breath echoing her newfound determination. We must honor our mother's choices while also claiming our space to grow from them. With growing clarity, Lucy began to map possible trajectories for confronting the man mentioned in the journal, the man who had clearly left an indelible mark on their mother's life. They needed to understand his role in her choices if they were to move forward claiming their truths. As they leaned closer to the journal's pages, Lucy's heart raced. For the first time in years, she felt her purpose aligning with her actions. She was ready to unearth the complexities of not just their mother but of herself and her sisters. Just as they made plans to dig deeper, Lucy stumbled upon an obscure reference suggesting an impending confrontation not just with a figure from their mother's past, but with a truth that could shift their understanding of family and identity. Lucy, Lily said, fear and challenge lacing her voice. What if confronting him isn't just about her? What if it unveils parts of us we're not ready to face? For a moment, silence hung in the air again, heavy with unspoken fears and possibilities. Lucy felt the weight of their pact settle inside her. Then we prepare, creep into that darkness. Together, she replied, heart pounding against uncertainty's edge. It's time we reclaim our story. Ready to delve into the heart of their mother's past, they knew this would demand more than they had ever imagined. What awaited them could either be a revelation of profound understanding or a whirlpool of chaos. As they took a deep breath, the journey into the depths of discovery beckoned. Lucy's heart raced with trepidation and excitement. It was time for their family's truth to emerge, ready to transform who they were meant to become. The next steps loomed before them like the shadows of looming giants, but Lucy could feel the flame of resilience kindle within. Would they face the man who shaped their mother's choices, or would the confrontation force them to confront the very essence of their inherited legacy? In the days following their courageous confrontation, Lucy, Lily, and Mia dove deeper into the turbulent waters of their individual and collective truth. Armed with the journal's revelations, they embarked on a journey not just of discovery but of healing. Each entry they read acted as a mirror, reflecting their own vulnerabilities and aspirations. Mia's expression grew clearer as she embraced this self-discovery. She no longer saw herself solely as the protector but rather as a participant in the unfolding narrative. The twins grew increasingly confident, energizing each other as they documented their reflections and insights inspired by the journal entries. They were not merely revealing the past, they were reshaping their future. After weeks of exploration, they reached a pivotal point, one that demanded concrete action. Lucy proposed a family meeting, but instead of facing Mr. Thompson, the local attorney, it would be an outreach to others impacted by the journal's revelations. They invited members of their community, focusing on those who had encountered similar struggles. The goal was clear: to turn personal turmoil into a broader conversation about forgiveness, resilience, and courage in the face of pain. On the day of the meeting, anxiety threaded through the air, yet a bright spark of anticipation ignited their hearts. As Lucy stood in front of the small gathering, she felt the warmth of purpose envelop her. "We're here," she began, "to share not just our mother's story but also to address the silent battles many of us face. We are interconnected by our experiences, and it's time we reclaim our narratives." The room was filled with nods and murmurs of agreement, a palpable energy shifting the mood. By showcasing their family's history, Lucy and Lily illuminated the harsh realities of hardship while curating a safe space for others to voice their own pains and harbored secrets. The transformation was profound, barriers began to dissolve, and shared vulnerabilities bred an unexpected camaraderie. Mia, radiant with pride, found her voice too. "I spent years believing I was shielding my daughters," she stated, conviction echoing her words. "But it was never about erasing the past but confronting it together. I urge you to share your truths, to not feel alone in your struggles." Their town, once veiled in silence, began to respond. Through heartfelt exchanges, several community members shared their own experiences of loss, betrayal, and ultimately, resilience. Each story built upon the last, creating a tapestry of understanding that enveloped Lucy and Lily in a community of empathetic support. It was in that moment, surrounded by palpable honesty and connection, that Lucy realized her evolution was complete. She had transformed from a girl ensnared by her mother's past to a confident young woman guiding her family and community toward courageous exploration. No longer characterized merely by her lineage, she stood tall in her own identity. Through confrontation, recognition, and acceptance, Mia, Lucy, and Lily forged a powerful path forward, not escaping their past but embracing it fully. The community meeting blossomed into an initiative for open dialogues about mental health, support groups, and family legacies. They created a platform for honest discussions, fostering a nurturing environment where pain was acknowledged but not magnified. As weeks passed, a change rippled through Lucy's life. She received recognition at school for her leadership in igniting meaningful conversations, while Mia reconciled with her own choices, learning to move forward without shame. Lily discovered her voice, sharing creativity through art that spoke to the transformed understanding of family dynamics. Having garnered a newfound strength, Lucy penned her own reflections, interweaving lessons learned and revelations unearthed from her journey of growth. What began as hidden truths uncovered in their family journal morphed into a testament of resilience, a legacy of courage passed from mother to daughters, now reaching outward into the community. There, standing on the cusp of vibrant possibility, Lucy felt an authentic pride surface. Had she conquered her fears? Yes, but it was more than that. She had demonstrated the power of truth and connection, accomplishments defined not just by overcoming adversity but by forging a legacy of openness in a world often cloaked in silence. In that realization, Lucy knew she was not just a voice for her mother's turbulent past, but a beacon for engagement and empowerment. The sisters had achieved something beautifully profound. They reclaimed their narrative, sparking transformation not only in their lives but in the very fabric of their community. As Lucy reflected on this journey, she realized the conclusion was never about finding answers. Instead, it was a celebration of the journeys made and the relationships forged, a legacy built on resilience and mutual understanding. Reflecting on their progress, Lucy looked at her mother and sister, realizing that a lifetime of strength lay ahead. They were ready to embrace this new chapter, not leaving shadows behind but carrying their stories like torches, illuminating a path of growth and healing. If you resonated with this journey of courage and personal transformation, you need to subscribe now to our channel. Don't miss the next exclusive emotional stories that inspire growth and resilience. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and amplify powerful narratives like these. Comment below your reactions and theories about Lucy's journey and how it mirrors your own experiences. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Together, we can transform more lives through the power of storytelling.